All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make another video for you guys addressing some of the mistakes that I see people making, and they come to me and they want some help regarding these mistakes. And it's not only applicable for bodybuilders, because this is usually who comes with these questions and these mistakes that they've been doing. They got themselves in a rut um, on their fitness journey, but it applies to everybody and for what you're doing whether you're trying to build muscle, lose weight, improve performance in some aspect in a specific sport. So let's get at it. These are going to be pretty much nutrition focused, the majority of them. Okay. But took some notes so I can go through it pretty quickly. So we're just going to address 10 of them here, these mistakes. Whenever people are dieting, because a lot of you guys are looking for dieting advice. That's why you come to me, and the majority of you guys looking for either PEDs or for peptides and help you on your journey. So, number one, typically what I find is that people do over restrict the calories too fast. So, again, a lot of people will try to just find a number, like however many, like 1,500 calories, and that's what I need to be eating. They focus on the calories and not the macronutrients, but they just pick a number, right? Rather than weighing your food out, calculating how many calories by tracking your fats, carbs, and protein for the entire week. You need to see what you're doing on a weekly basis, and then instead, and then you take away 10% of those calories, and then those typically that's going to be coming from fat because you're going to notice that you do consume a lot more fat than what you think. So over restricting. The problem with that is the body's very, very adaptive. And so if you drop your calories too fast, your body will think that it is in a nutrient needed state, not necessarily a starved state, unless you drop them super low, but also assuming that you are working out as well. So your body's just going to adapt to the energy needs and it's going to start slowing your metabolism down. I mean, let's look at like people who only eat once a day, like tribal people, like they have very, very slow metabolism. You would think that they would have fast metabolism based on like how much they walk and the activity that they do when they're hunting, but they have a very slow metabolism, and that's the way that they can survive. So your body's going to adapt the same way. So you'll see some downregulation of your thyroid, and also your body is probably going to get rid of the more expensive items on your that require calories, like muscle. So it'll start to just try to get rid of muscle, and then you might get a little bit more fat because it's going to need to store energy. Energy comes from fat or carbs or ketones, and so it's going to just try to store it as fat. So you can have energy throughout the rest of the day. So I like to just keep it very gradual, cutting it by 10%. And again, those calories coming from fat, because fat is 9 calories per gram. That's the most expensive one. And then we can see a better reduction in fat loss. So don't restrict your calories too fast. Number two, not eating enough protein. So a lot of times people have a hard time getting enough protein in because they have maybe a few different issues. So like as we age, it also is harder to get in protein because our stomach has less acidity. A way around that. So if you eat protein and you just find that you have a slower digestion, betaine HCl with pepsin and or bitters can help with increasing stomach acidity. Also, you typically find that at older, as we age, sometimes they get prescriptions for antacids. And again, that reduces the acidity of your stomach, which makes it harder to break down protein. So then you have that slow gastric emptying, and then you won't want to eat as much protein. Um, or you're eating protein in a meal with too much fat, and then that slows the digestion down. And so uh, it's just hard to get enough protein in. Okay. So there's a lot of different reasons why you're not getting the protein in, and some of those may be the reason. Um, so typically, I like to get around one, like minimum 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And unless you're severely obese, then we're going to kind of play around with that number. If we are not doing a protein modified fast. So typically 1 to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. It really depends on the individual and the what we're doing as far as cutting calories, cutting like for getting to a deficit. So again, if we're doing like a protein sparing modified fast, so PSMF, your protein's going to be higher. It's just what it's going to be whenever we're more severely obese. Um, Trying to break down some of that fat for energy, and it can use that while we continue to get a protein into your diet to maintain muscle building effects. And as you're working out, it needs the amino acids to help build the muscle and recover it. A lot of times you'll see people having their protein like zero point 0.7 grams per pound of body weight or per pound of lean mass. I just think that's too low. Um, Again, one to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight for just my everyday people, and then going up to 2 grams for people who are bodybuilding or um, if they're involved in sports and such, where they're trying to add on muscle or need more recovery for again uh, sport specific. So, um, one thing that I do with the protein as well, so like if you're an endurance sport specific athlete, then like soccer, you're going to have more carbohydrates in your diet, and you're going to eat more along the sides of 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight, just because the recovery for you is probably going to be more glycogen, just the way that you're running around. Plus, you don't want to add on too much muscle. But again, muscle doesn't happen just like out of the blue. It's very, very hard to create muscle tissue. So you're not going to be like, oh, I just added on 10 pounds of muscle by mistake. If that were the case, everybody in the gym would be huge. So, but lowering the protein content for those specific athletes, it's going to allow you to have more carbohydrates in your diet, and it's going to refuel you for your next endurance sport. So, number three, relying too much on supplements. So, a lot of times people think that the supplements are going to be the way to boost anabolism or to boost lipolysis. But whole foods is where we should get our sources in for vitamins, minerals, and for protein. But we just add the supplements in, like they're saying, like the name supplemental, whenever we are trying to become more optimal. So there is a time and place for supplements and protein powders and carb powders, and I use them. I love them, but I also don't ignore whole foods. Whole foods is where they're at. And you also don't want to not eat whole foods because that roughage can help stimulate other enzymes and probiotics and postbiotics in your and prebiotics in your gut. If you do an all liquid diet, sometimes you might find that you have a risk of like your body losing the muscle contraction to be able to break down that food, and you might have some problems going back to eating whole foods, more bloating and such. All right. Number four, inconsistent tracking. So it is what it is on there. The more consistent you are, the even if you're tracking uh, uh like what's the thing? It's like if it's consistently inconsistent, then that is good. But again, you have to be consistently inconsistent. This is just inconsistent tracking to where I'm asking you to weigh your food out for an entire week so we know how much you're eating without making changes to your diet. And if you don't do it for one day, that just throws off the entire thing. You can't just not track it. You need data. Data is the way that we know how to make adjustments and improvements. Um, so it's the same thing in everything that we do in life. We need some sort of data to go by, and tracking our food, even training is going to be a way that we make improvements. So if you're inconsistent, then it's just going to throw everything off. And this is definitely important for whenever we're in prep season for bodybuilders. Uh, Number five, cutting carbs too low. Carbs are your friend. Again, carbs can be protein sparing, but carbs also provide the energy and the fuel for you inside the gym, on the field, or just the production throughout your day. If anything, lower fats People eat way too many fats these days, too many saturated fats. It's not as important as we thought for maintaining hormonal balance and creating the steroidal hormones. Our mitochondria have a huge role in this as well. But overeating fats is a problem, and under eating carbohydrates is a big problem when we're trying to lose weight because we're going to lose weight by um, by being in some sort of deficit. But I don't want to keep dropping food to be in a deficit. I want to increase performance output, and I want to have muscle tissue on our body. Muscle is more expensive to keep on our body, so it's going to require more calories. So I want to make sure that we're doing enough resistance training in the gym to build muscle to keep that positive balance. So we can, like the saying, build muscle while burning fat. It's totally possible. You can do it. It's just really the diet is the key. It's to unlock this secret, and you just don't want to cut it too low. So typically, 2 grams per pound of body weight, up to 3 to 4 grams per pound of body weight for my endurance people. Also, carbs, you might find if you eat a lot of carbs in one day, you just hold a little bit of water, and the next couple of days, it'll go away. And you also might lose weight because it does help to release more serotonin while you're going to sleep or throughout the day and reduce some of that cortisol spike. Carbs are our friends, and I like to keep them very simple carbs. Um, not so like the less ingredients in the carbohydrates, then the better. And I like to keep it like what people call high glycemic carbs. The glycemic index doesn't matter if you are pairing it up with a protein and or a little bit of fat. Um, it's just going to slow down the digestion. You're not eating I would never tell you to go and eat a bowl of rice by itself for the average person. You don't need it. That's not how you eat food. You're usually eating it with protein. So, brown rice, I feel like it sits in your stomach a little bit too long, and it's a little bit harder to digest because the husk on the outside. So things like that, um, wheats and such, it's harder to break down. So you might feel some bloating issues, and just take them out of your diet. Number six, neglecting sleep and recovery. So this is one that people think that doing more work and waking up super early despite of the sleep and so they can do cardio because cardio and physical activity burns or uses calories and energy while sleep also helps the body restore production of your CNS, other hormones, lowers cortisol, manages cortisol. If you neg- if you neglect sleep, you're going to not only have the physical problems of the muscle breakdown, higher elevated cortisol, you're going to have some CNS problems. So you're not going to be able to lift heavy weight. It's going to feel super heavy, or your legs are going to feel super heavy. But you're also going to have the mental fatigue as well. So you might not be motivated to go into the gym or disciplined to go into the gym. Um, but yeah, I mean, discipline is doing the things that you hate doing, but doing them as if you love them, right? So sleep can really play a role in that mindset, and so it might destroy your non-solidified uh, dedication and discipline. Now, what's cool is that they are coming out with some pretty uh, good pharmacokinetics for people who have trouble sleeping because of sleep apnea, because a lot of times sleep apnea causes us not to have good sleep. So, CPAP machines, a lot of people can't keep it on their mouth or in their nose with a nasal cannula. And um, sleep apnea can also make you wake up during the night, can also cause you to go to the bathroom multiple times during the night, spiking these hormones to wake you up because your body thinks it's not getting enough oxygen. So you have disturbed sleep, even though you went to bed and you're like calculating for 9 hours, you might not be getting a full 9 hours because of the amount of times you're um, waking up to go pee due to the sleep apnea. Um, or you might be overstimulated from the day before and you are not in a deep REM sleep. And so you keep kind of tossing and turning, um, which again, the quality of the sleep during that length of time isn't really there. So again, poor sleep. Or you have some problems with blood sugar, epinephrine, norepinephrine, uh, with uh, with your diet, and it might cause like too much sweating, keeping you overheating at night, and that keeps you waking up. But the cool thing that they have coming out, it's AD109. It's an oral medication. It's being developed right now, and it's for people with sleep apnea. So what it does is that it activates the upper airway dilator muscles and helps keep the airway open during sleep, preventing or reducing airway obstructions. So it combines two different drugs, and I don't know how to pronounce them, so that you can look it up yourself. But it's in phase 3 of the trials. So it's AD as in dog, AD109. Um, so I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be really, really good. And we can take that and try not to use the sleep apnea machine because it not only is very loud for your spouse, but it might be hard for you to fall asleep on your back with the nasal cannula or the face mask. Number 7, not adjusting diet over time. So a lot of people just stick with the same thing over and over again, which it's fine for a little bit, but I do think that you need to change things up because as you build muscle, you're going to need to have a different approach to fat loss or building muscle. And same thing if you are in a phase of like a seasonal phase of life to where you're overly stimulated with work and or family activities, you're going to have to change things up to deal with that change. But it's really important as we gain more muscle, we need to change our approach with food intake and training as well. The body will become does get adapted to somewhat of a degree with this, but it doesn't. It's not like if you don't change your foods, it's not like, oh, I keep eating the same things over and over again, I'm just not going to grow. No, it's more like I'm just not getting enough, and then of the calories and also micronutrients. So you're not getting enough macro and micronutrients because with more muscle means more micronutrients as well. You're creating more mitochondria, so now you need more mitochondrial support. So this is not only just with diet, but it's with supplementation as well, and with PED use and with peptide use. So all these things come into play whenever we are not adjusting uh, anything of our diet or lifestyle as we progress. So that will slow down and make a sticking point for our progression. So slowly increase the calories. Again, the same way that I go with uh, fat loss, decreasing it by 10% with, and I decrease the fats by 10%. I will increase your calories by 10%. And those are typically coming from, I would say, like 5% carbs, 5% protein, or 7% carbs, 3% protein. So that's the way to do it for that. I think that's it about that. Oh yeah, the other thing is if you don't really adjust your diet as well with some of these with bodybuilders, they eat the same things over and over again. Your body can develop a like an intolerance to a food. So sometimes you find out that, hey, I've been like eating egg whites all through the past 5 years of my bodybuilding prep, and now all of a sudden when I eat them, I get bloated. Sometimes your bodies can create an intolerance to those foods, and you need to take a step back. But egg whites seem to be a huge thing, chicken as well. So again, switch things up, keep a lot of variety in your diet so that your gut microbiome can do its thing and let you be able to digest those foods without any type of problems. Number 8, doing excessive cardio. Again, cardio is just more for cardiovascular health. That's what it is. Short and sweet, right? Cardiovascular health. Getting steps in throughout the day, it's going to help you reach that cardiovascular output that you need for fat loss. But some styles of like keeping your heart rate at a certain manageable rate of like being able to like breathe through your nose and that can keep this like maybe the phase of that we're trying to get rid of visceral body fat, doing a little bit of HIIT cardio can get rid of visceral body fat alongside with intermittent fasting. But just for steps sake, being able to hold a conversation while you're walking and kind of breathing deep a little bit during that conversation then you're doing a good amount of cardio. So I don't want you to be able to just have a conversation and not have any sort of like deep breaths in the middle, or like like the flow of your speech is slower. You should be able to feel some sort of resistance, and then you're getting enough cardio done. But don't do too much. It's catabolic, so it does break down, but get enough for heart health. And also helps with digestion with food. So get up and walking around. But doing cardio, like doing an 2, 3 hours of cardio a day, isn't going to make you any leaner for your prep. It's going to flatten you out. It's going to use a lot of glucose. It's going to use a lot of energy that we need to be keeping in the bank for our resistance training, and and for muscle recovery. But yeah. Number nine, ignoring micronutrients and fiber. So kind of went over that a little bit. Eat, eat a variety. Eat the colors of the season. Whatever the earth provides during the season, that's going to have the highest amount of vitamins and minerals that you need to make sure that your immune system is uh, able to battle the environment that of temperature changes or pollen and such. Uh, it's it's going to help with your microbiome. So, like the gut bacteria diversity, which that will change as well, along with the foods that you're eating and the season. Try to eat things that are uh, um, not repetitive. So, like if you eat like if it's strawberry season, like don't just eat a bunch of strawberries. There's other fruits and vegetables out there, so pair them up. Just because when you start eating some of these low FODMAP diet foods at too high of a volume, it can become a high FODMAP. So we just want to make sure that the volume is still manageable and not excessive, because that's one thing that we have a problem is doing things excessively and not in moderation. And the last thing is expecting fast results or getting discouraged. So again, this does take time, whether you're building muscle, losing fat. You didn't wake up the one day and you're 30 pounds heavier. It does take time for your body to do these things, to make these adaptations and changes metabolically. But I will tell you one thing, gaining fat is way easier than burning fat. So we do have peptides out there that can help you um, with the journey and making sure that it is more manageable as your life may be more stressful, especially nowadays. We just need to come to terms that we do have a lot more stress from external factors of the economy and with living situations nowadays. So just don't make any unrealistic expectations. Um, you can be very smart about your personality, and and set the expectations for yourself. I also try to help you manage expectations because I've seen a lot of different people and with a lot of different health problems or diseases or starting points. And then I can give you a rough idea of how long it took them or what to expect using certain peptides and or anabolics or switching up foods to try to get, you know, help with like a diverse um, gut friendly diet and lifestyle. But the peptides that I find that really shine right now is the GLP-1, the third generation. They are injectable, so I can I can help you with reconstituting it and how you should use it and how often. But that makes it so much easier. You've seen all my videos and me harping on retatrutide. I just think that for people that have a hard time sticking to something because of uh, habits or addictions, makes it so much more manageable. And I don't think it's something that makes it easier because you still have to put in the work. So the GLP-1 retatrutide, I highly recommend starting off super low. I mean, even if it's half a milligram to 1 milligram, that's where I'm at. I'm still at 1 milligram. I use it for the addiction purpose, not for the slowing down my GI tract, because I don't think that that's good. But if you're not a big fan of injecting, we do have a new oral GLP-1 coming out. Eli Lilly is coming out with it. It is orforglipron. Orfo Orforglipron. So it's phase 3 trial. So um uh, yeah, it successfully completed phase 3 trial. So And again, they're just focusing on the A1C, so it might just slow. Like I don't know if it's just a GLP1 or if it's a has a GIP in there or not. But again, this is another way that we can make things more manageable because really we want to slow down you eating, especially if you have body fat on you, you're trying to lose weight. You want your blood sugar, um, you want your calories and blood sugar to drop a bit so that your body can release glucagon. Glucagon will help the body to spike that blood sugar back up, but also it's gonna help with releasing stored body fat as fuel and break off the fatty acid chains to glucose through glucose neogenesis, and it can help you with maintaining blood sugar to keep you going. And so releasing that glucagon from the liver is very, very important with re getting rid of all this extra stored body fat and getting rid of those fatty acids that's stored in the fat cells. Because if you release them and you don't use them, then they go back and be stored as fat. So that's what I'm saying. It's harder than you think to get rid of the fat that you put on, and it's harder than you think to build muscle, actual tissue. Because whenever you start seeing weight gain, if you're a lean individual and you see weight gain, or you see some improvements with your composition of your muscles, filling out, looking fuller. Keep in mind, muscle it holds a lot of water. Same thing with fat. Um, your cells will hold water. So, uh, gaining lean tissue, it's more of an expectation to gain maybe a pound per month. I wouldn't go crazy if you're natural, maybe a pound and a half to 2 pounds a month. If you are going on some sort of peptide or anabolic use, anabolics are going to be more inducive to creating more muscle because that's what they are for. Peptides, you can have some recovery ones to create more IGF, which then the IGF can help you create give you that environment to create more muscle, as long as you're having the calories coming in and the intensity in your workouts and the sleep for recovery. All those play a huge role. And always encourage getting blood work done to make during this journey, a minimum twice a year. Again, we need data the same way we need to have our calories calculated. We need the blood work to give us some sort of data so we can go by. We need to see trends. Without trends, it's pointless, right? So it's like because you're just taking a picture. That'd be like taking a picture in the first grade and then taking a picture in the fifth grade. You don't know there's no other pictures to see the progression of the aging of your kid. So you go back and you're like, dang, like what did you look like back like from second grade to fourth grade? You have no idea. So blood work is going to be the same thing that we need for that trend so we can make improvements, see what's working for you, what's not working for you. And you don't need to do a crazy panel to where it's like vitamins and minerals. Start off something basic, lipids, CMB, uh, hormonal panel, CBC, CMP, thyroid, things like that. And then you can go into the nitty gritty if there's anything that is off kilter in your blood work that looks a little wonky and that goes along with your symptoms. So that's it. That's the top 10 issues or mistakes that people are making when dieting, whether that's dieting to lose weight or build muscle, whether that's for bodybuilding, fitness, sport, or just the everyday mom and dad. So if you have any questions, concerns, tell me I'm wrong about something, let me know in the comment section, and you can share this with other people who have these mistakes, who are making these mistakes, and or who listen to social media or the media on TV, which give a lot of bad information out there. I can clear some things up for them. Just reach out to me on my Instagram at fit.dad.lifestyle and use my link in the link tree. Everything's there for me. And like, share, comment, subscribe. Later.